The moment my dad told me to get out, he didn't hesitate, didn't raise his voice, didn't even look angry. That's what made it worse. "Pack your things," he said calmly. "You're done here." I stood there in the living room staring at him, trying to understand how he could say something like that so easily. Like it meant nothing. Like I meant nothing. "What are you talking about?" I asked. My voice stayed steady. That surprised me. Because inside, everything felt like it was shifting. "You've been a problem long enough," he said. "I'm not dealing with it anymore. A problem." That word sat there. Heavy, unfair, but familiar, because in his version of the story, I had always been the problem. Brother Daniel leaned against the wall, arms crossed, watching like this was entertainment. "You heard him," he said. "Time to go." I looked between them, waiting, hoping for someone to say this wasn't serious. No one did. "This is my home too," I said. My dad shook his head slightly. "No," he replied. "It's not. Simple, final." Like that settled everything. I let out a slow breath, trying to keep control of the moment. Of myself. "You can't just throw me out," I said. He stepped closer. Not aggressive, just certain. "I can," he said, "and I am." That was it. No argument, no discussion, just a decision already made. I glanced around the house, the same walls, the same furniture. It's the same place I had lived in for years. And suddenly, it felt different. It's like I didn't belong there anymore, at least. That's what they thought. "Fine," I said quietly. My dad nodded once, satisfied. "Good," he replied. "I'll give you an hour, to leave everything behind. To disappear, to accept it." Daniel smirked slightly. "Don't take too long," he added. I didn't respond. Because something had already shifted. Not anger, not panic. Something calmer, more controlled. Because the truth was, they believed they had all the power in that moment, the house, the decision, the control, but they didn't. Not even close. I turned slightly, walked toward my room. It's not rushed, not emotional, just steady. Because if they wanted me gone, I would leave, but not the way they expected. Definitely not for the reason they thought. Behind me, I heard my dad exhale, like the situation was already resolved, like everything was back under his control, like he had one. That was the mistake, because he didn't realize something. This wasn't his house anymore. It hadn't been for a while, and in less than an hour, he was about to find out. I closed my bedroom door behind me, gently, not because I cared about the noise, because I didn't want to give them the satisfaction. For a moment, I just stood there, looking around at everything's the desk, the bed, the shelves. All the things they thought I was about to leave behind. It's all the things they thought I no longer had a right to. I picked up a small bag, not a suitcase, not everything, just enough, because I wasn't leaving for good. Not really. And deep down, I think I already knew that. Outside, I could hear them talking. Not quietly, not carefully. Like I wasn't even there anymore. Finally, Daniel said, "I thought he'd never leave." My dad didn't respond immediately. "Then it's better this way," he said. Better, that word again. Like removing me fixed something. It's like I was the problem that needed to go. I zipped the bag slowly, not rushed, because time wasn't something I was worried about. Not anymore. Looked to the mirror, looked at myself. Calm, composed, not defeated. That mattered, because this wasn't loss. It was timing. And timing was about to change everything. I stepped back into the hallway. Both of them looked up. Daniel first, then my dad. Expectation, satisfaction, control, all of it still there. "I'm ready," I said. My dad nodded toward the front door. "Good," he replied. No emotion, no hesitation, just done. I walked past them, slow, measured, not looking back, because they didn't deserve that. As I reached the door, my hand rested on the handle, cold, solid, familiar for a second. I paused, not because I was unsure, because this was the moment. The last moment they thought they had control. "You've got everything?" Daniel asked behind me. I turned slightly. "Just enough, yeah." I said that was true. I had everything I needed. I opened the door, stepped outside. The air felt different, cooler, clearer, like something had already shifted. Behind me, I heard my dad speak again. "Lock the door after you leave," he said. I almost smiled. Almost. But I didn't. Because this wasn't the time. "Not yet. Don't worry," I replied. Then I stepped fully outside. The door closed. Behind me, soft final. Or at least, that's what they thought. I stood there for a moment on the driveway, looking at the house. The same house they believed they owned. The same house they just kicked me out of. And then I reached into my pocket, pulled out my phone, unlocked it. One contact. Already waiting. I tapped the screen, held it to my ear. "They're inside," I said. Pause. "Then yeah," I added quietly. "Go ahead." I ended the call, slipped the phone back into my pocket, and walked a few steps away. Not far, just enough, because I didn't need distance. I just needed timing. Inside, they were probably already relaxing, thinking it was over, thinking they had one, but they hadn't, not even close. Because in the next few minutes, someone else was going to knock on that door, and when it opened, everything they believed about that house was about to collapse. At first, nothing happened. The house stayed quiet, still like nothing had changed, like the moment had already passed. But I didn't move. I just stood there, watching, waiting, because I knew exactly what was coming. And then a car pulled up. Clean, unmarked, but official. The kind of presence that doesn't need to announce itself. The engine cut. The door opened. 2 men stepped out, not rushed, not confused, focused. Like they already knew why they were here. They walked up the driveway without hesitation, straight to the front door, and knocked firm, controlled. The kind of knock that carries authority. Sighed. I could hear movement. Footsteps. Then Daniel's voice. "Who is it?" No answer. Just another knock. Louder this time. Daniel opened the door halfway, annoyed. But he stopped mid-sentence, because the men didn't look like guests or neighbors, or anyone he could dismiss. "Yes," one of them said calmly. Daniel frowned. "What is this?" "We're here regarding the property," the man replied. Property. That word landed differently, heavier, sharper. Daniel hesitated, then stepped slightly outside, lowering his voice. "What about it?" The second man spoke this time. "We need to speak with the current occupants. Occupants, not owners." That detail mattered, even if Daniel didn't catch it yet. "We are the occupants," he said quickly. The man nodded once. "Good," he replied. "Then this will be straightforward." Behind him, my dad approached the door. "What's going on?" he asked. Daniel stepped aside slightly. "They're saying something about the house." My dad looked at the men, calm and confident. "This is private property," he said. "You can't just—" "Yes," the first man said calmly. "We're aware." That stopped him, because the tone wasn't defensive. It wasn't uncertain. It was certain. "We're here to inform you," the man continued, "that ownership of this property has changed." Silence. Instant. Total. Because that sentence didn't just interrupt the moment. It rewrote it. "That's not possible," my dad said immediately. The second man reached into his folder, pulled out a document official stamped, clear. "It's already been processed," he said. "Effective this morning." My dad took the paper, his eyes moving across it once, then again slower this time. Daniel leaned in. "What does it say?" he asked. No answer, because my dad couldn't respond. "Not yet. This has to be a mistake," Daniel said. But even he didn't sound convinced. Because the room, the house, the moment didn't feel like a mistake. It felt real. Very real. "And who exactly owns it now?" my dad asked. His voice lower, tighter, controlled but barely. The man didn't hesitate. He didn't look at the document again. He already knew. Instead, he turned slightly and looked past them, at me, standing in the driveway, calm, waiting. And that's when everything connected. For them, all at once. For a moment, no one spoke. Not my dad, not Daniel, not even the men at the door. Because the realization didn't hit all at once. It crept in slow, heavy, unavoidable. Daniel turned first. His eyes locked onto me, then back at the paper, then back at me again. "No," he said quietly. "That's not possible." My dad didn't say anything, just kept staring at the document like it would change if he looked long enough. It didn't. Who owns it? Daniel asked again, his voice sharper now. But this time, he already knew the answer. The man at the door didn't repeat it. He didn't need to. Simply stepped aside slightly, giving a clear line of sight straight to me, standing outside, calm, unmoved. And that's when my dad finally looked up. Pat me, not through me, not past me, at me. What did you do? He asked. His voice wasn't angry, it wasn't loud. It was uncertain, and that was new, very new. I took a step forward, not fast, not aggressive, just enough to close the distance. I didn't do anything, I said calmly. That's the problem. Silence. Because that answer didn't fit what they expected. It says to be a mistake, Daniel said again, but no one backed him up. Not anymore. I reached the edge of the doorway, close enough now that there was no separation left. Just a line inside, outside, ownership, reality. It's not a mistake, I said. Simple. Clear. Final. My dad shook his head slowly. You can't just buy a house without telling us, he said. I looked at him, really looked at him. You're right, I replied. A small pause. Then I didn't just buy it. That was the moment, the shift. Because now they knew there was more. A lot more. Owned it for months, I continued. Silence, deep, heavy. Because that sentence didn't just explain what happened, exposed everything. You've been living here, I said, on a property that's legally mine. Daniel stepped back slightly, like the ground itself had changed. That's not possible, he said again. But this time, it sounded like hope. Not belief it is, I said. No emotion, no satisfaction. Just truth. My dad looked down at the paper again, then back at me, and for the first time, he didn't look in control. He looked like someone who had just lost it. You should have told us, he said. I almost smiled. Almost. You didn't ask, I replied. That landed hard, 'cause it was true. Simple, unavoidable. They never asked what I was doing, where I had been, what I had built. They just assumed. And now, they were standing inside the consequence of that assumption. The man beside me spoke again. Sir, he said to my dad, we'll need you to vacate the property. Vacate. The same word. The same situation. Just reversed. Daniel looked at my dad, waiting, hoping for him to fix it. But there was nothing left to fix, because this time, the decision wasn't his. My dad looked at me one last time. What do you want? He asked. That question felt different, not controlling, not demanding, just uncertain. I held his gaze, calm, clear. You already made your decision, I said, and just like that. Everything came full circle, because the moment he told me to leave was the moment he lost the right to stay. I stepped back, giving space not out of respect, out of closure, because this wasn't revenge, it was consequence. And there was nothing left to argue.